listen, how am I going to get the A1C lowered? If I cut out all sugar in my diet, will this help? She giggled at me and she said, yeah, it'll help. My friends told me about this book, The Carnivore Diet. I got rid of the fruit. I got rid of the vegetables, just drinking the water, weeding everything out. This one girl asked, how you doing? I explained to her the diet that I'm doing, and she ends up being a nutritionist, and she was beside herself. You're just eating meat and steak and hamburgers. And like yesterday I had a quadruple cheeseburger. You lost 91 pounds and you're eating that. And I've saved money now by going on this diet because I wouldn't care if I'm dead broke. I'd rather be healthy and then be able to do just not one thing, but do multiple things to raise money for my family.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's because no one's ever really looked at it in this way. We've always looked at it as part of a diet, and it's a dietary pattern, and it's a Western diet. But no one's ever looked into a meat-exclusive diet where it's just all meat and see what the outcomes. And what we're seeing is, despite what people would have assumed, the opposite's happening. People are getting healthy. They're losing weight. Their blood pressure's going down. Their A1C is normalizing. Their pain's going away, on and on. Okay, good morning, everybody. And once again, I apologize for the scratchy voice. I got choked out a little too much the last couple of days in jiu-jitsu, and so the voice takes a roll on that. But anyway, we've got Daniel with us today as our success story. So Daniel, welcome. If you don't mind, where are you located?
I'm in Comac, New York.
Okay, wonderful. Well, welcome here. Hopefully it's a nice day over there. Let's get started here. Just tell us about your background, how you got where you are today, what you went through, and all that type of stuff.
All right. I basically retired from my job in 2021. I went to work multiple different jobs to see what I can do after retirement. And right now, at that point in time, I was really not taking care of myself. I was just more worried about taking care of my family at that particular point in time.
What kind of condition were you in when you ended up doing that stuff?
All right. In 21, I had aches and pain. I had hip pain. I had back pain. People I was working with told me it was just painful for them to watch me walk. I wasn't able to do much walking at all in 21, maybe from nothing to half a mile the most. All the jobs I had were really like desk jobs at the time.
How old were you at the time, or how old are you now?
I was 21. I was 49 years old.
Okay, so 49, you could barely walk, had severe hip pain. Had you ever had an x-ray or anything like that, say you had arthritis or something like that? Or
at the time, my doctor gave me Crestor for cholesterol. I was on blood pressure medication. I went for a full body screening. They said the only thing they said, I had a fatty liver at the time.
Okay, they weren't x-raying your hip, but okay, so you're in pain. Were you overweight at the time, or what was your body like?
I never kept track of my weight as I'm doing right now. In September of 21, I went for another health screening. I was 319 pounds at that health screening. Okay. The doctor told me, hey, I want you to look at your calves because they're swelling. And I was at that time in September, I was still not able to walk as much as I wanted to. And then in November, I go see my primary doctor. She looks at my blood work, and she wanted me to start taking metformin because my A1C was getting to over 6. I asked her, hey, give me some more time. Maybe I can work something out. I go back the following month, do the tests over again, and she said, I got to start that metformin. At that point in time, I said, right before the holidays, I said, I got to do something. I got to change something. And then on top of changing myself, I said, I'm looking around and seeing other people upset or injured for other reasons. And I'm like, I said, time out. If no one's I have to take care of myself first. And if I can take care of myself first, then I can help first my family, then the other people I work with at the other jobs I had. So I went to a new doctor at that time, and she weighed me in at 326 pounds. And she looked over my blood work from my previous doctor. And she said, listen, I'm going to give you 3 months. If you don't change anything, you got to start taking all these medications, which I didn't want to.
And at 326, how tall are you, by the way?
5'11".
5'11", okay. And so she said, I'm going to give you 3 months to change everything. What did she tell you to do? Or did you said figure it out yourself, or what the instructions?
Basically, in a way, she did. I said, listen, how am I going to get this the A1C lowered? I said, if I cut out all sugar in my diet, will this help? She giggled at me and she said, yeah, it'll help. And then early on, 21, my friend Steve, who has helped me since I started this journey in January, he told me about this book, The Carnivore Diet. I said, okay, I'll get it. I get the book early 21, like February, and I'm looking at it. Looks like a great diet, but I end up taking the book and tossing it in my trunk. I didn't even look at it. I'm like, okay, it's not going to be useful there, but maybe I'll have a chance to read it between all my jobs. Then back in January, after the doctor visit, I got that book out and I started reading that book.
Okay, I've heard of that book. So you read the book. I guess maybe you acted on it. When did you start changing the diet? And let me ask you before you do that, what had your diet been over the years? Because you don't get to 320 pounds like accidentally. It's years and years of off and wrong diet.
It definitely goes well before 21. I would say definitely the prior 6 years prior to 21, my diet's been horrendous. My exercise routine was pretty much horrendous. I tried walking in the past. I tried even jogging. I got to 2 miles of jogging a few years ago prior to 21. And after I tried to introduce different types of exercises, that's when my back started tweaking a little bit, and I stopped the walking, I stopped the jogging, and it just led up to 21 where I'm just in bad shape.
Okay. Had you ever tried to go on a diet prior to this?
I tried everything from the shakes. I've tried everything from eating the salad with the grilled chicken. I've joined, you name a gym, I probably joined it, and it just never lasted. Nothing has lasted as long as what I've been doing right now.
Why do you think those things never lasted for you, those other things?
The biggest difference that I see between what I'm doing now and in the past is the energy level has been insane. The only way I can describe it is drinking like 10 Red Bulls at once for the energy that I have right now.
Oh, that's interesting. I guess go back to, so you got to January of, 2022 or 2020, 2022, I'm assuming. 23, so this year. So you finally decide, hey, I'm gonna do something. So had your doctor, because your doctor said, hey, 3 months, you don't straighten up, we're putting you on meds. Had you passed that 3 month point, and did you go on a bunch of meds?
After I still had that doctor visit, I just did not hear anything good about metformin. Nothing good at all. And I want to avoid that medication at all costs. So I started weeding out the bread. I started weeding out the pizza by eating cauliflower pizza and just getting rid of all the sugary drinks. I got rid of the fruit. I got rid of the vegetables. I'm getting rid of everything that not protein. And by mid-February, there was a day that my wife has all this Easter candy around for some reason. One night, for whatever reason, I just ate Reese's peanut butter eggs and said, what am I doing? And that next day, I just started getting my hamburgers, getting the steak, having the eggs in the morning, and just slowly starting the process to go carnivore.
Okay. And you'd already read the book at that point, I assume. You maybe read through that.
Yes, I was reading the book as I was going through it. And what amazing is the stories in there from the guy becoming a health coach, everybody losing that weight and just going on this diet. And I'm like, by April 1st, I went from the 326 to the 291. Instead of walking that half mile, I've been walking at that point in time from a half mile to going up to 4 or 5 miles as of April 1st. And just to backtrack a little bit, with the doctor I saw in January, I said, listen, I need for physical therapy for my back. I need to get a sleep apnea test done. I'm getting all that done now. And then on top of this diet, everything just is rolled into place.
Okay. Obviously feeling better. How much weight have you been able to lose so far?
As of today, down 91 pounds.
Wow. So that's since January. So we're in July. So that's 8 months. Not quite 8 months. That's more than 10 pounds a month. That's really great. That's good.
July 26th will be 7 months.
Wow. And what about all the hip pain you were having? You said you were able to walk more. Is that pretty well gone?
So with the physical therapy, I'm feeling better now. I with the physical therapy, the diet, getting rid of all the sugars, getting rid of all the things that just make you just drag me down in the past. Just drinking the water, everything, just weeding everything out. I get more and more energy. As I said, by April 1st, I was walking a little bit more. So by Easter, I get my CPAP machine. Now I'm getting better sleep now. April 19th, I lost 50 pounds at that time. I got down to 276, 50-pound mark. I go to the beach in the morning. I'm walking on the boardwalk like I do when I'm off. This one girl asked, "How you doing?" Just saying good morning, how you feeling? I had to stop her. I said, "I feel great. I'm walking more. I lost 50 pounds. I tell her the story. I'm reading your book. I'm telling about the people I see at work or at home, how lethargic they were and how I was. And I explained to her the diet that I'm doing, and she ends up being a nutritionist. And she was beside herself. You just eating meat and steak and hamburgers. And I go, yeah. And yeah, I have my fish and chicken on occasion to change it up. But she was beside herself that I lost this weight at that pace.
Yeah, that's awesome to see that. I've seen other people do that before, but it's always neat to see that rapid of a change in your life. Why do you think it's easier to stick to this? Where you said you tried shakes, eating low-fat things in the past. Yeah. Why do you feel this is easier for you, or it seems like it's easier?
It's just I'm able to enjoy the steaks and the hamburgers, which I always loved. The prior nutritionists I had said, stick to chicken and stick to salmon and stick to those types of protein. And listen, I love those foods, but not every day. I take photos of my food now. I show people at the hospital I work at, hey, yesterday I had a quadruple cheeseburger with 2 sides of Canadian bacon. They're like looking at me. It's like, you lost 91 pounds and you're eating that? It blows their mind.
You said you work at a hospital too? Is that what I heard?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
Okay. And I guess obviously family has to notice. They can't help but notice you lose almost 100 pounds. What's been the reaction with the wife, the other family members, if you have any?
The reaction, because they see me every day, they're just tired of the story. Because every time I see someone new or someone goes, they notice, hey, how much weight did you lose? And I go through the whole story of, hey, I could barely walk. I got rid of all my medication now. I'm off the Crestor. I'm off the blood pressure medication. Never had to take the Metformin. My blood pressure's been the best it's been in months. Just this past month, I was able to jog 6 miles in an hour. I was beside myself. I haven't jogged that long since 1998. And we were just on one vacation in Bermuda. I went out and I walked. I come back. I walked 29.99 miles. I did 61,000 steps. It just, every time I show people my steps, I'm going from the half a mile to the 20 miles to the 40,000 steps to 60,000 steps. It's just people are beside themselves. They don't believe it.
Yeah, it's pretty. 29 miles is a heck of a walk. That takes a while for sure.
If I break it up, it's not all at once, thankfully.
What happened to your hemoglobin A1C? You said it was over 6. Is it come down?
Yeah, it was 6.4.
Okay.
I had my follow-up appointment with my doctor in April, and it went down to 5.5.
Okay, good. It might even be lower now. Who knows? What has your doctor said about the weight loss and the diet, if you've told her?
Yeah, I told her. She was beside herself. She was super excited. She was very happy for me. And when I told her, I stopped the Crestor in February because I think that was adding to my pain, to the back pain and all the aches and pains I had. It's like, it just didn't feel like normal back pain. I wasn't able to walk half a block in front of my house with the pain I was getting. Once I stopped that medication, the walking improved. When I got my CPAP machine, the walking improved. I've been trying to contact my doctor about the CPAP. I want to get rid of that now. And they're all excited, very happy. I'm just grateful for the foundation of my two friends that are here with me right now, Steve and Mike. They've helped me from the beginning. They've been always right there for me. No matter if I need to text them, and at midnight, I can send them the text, and they'll be there for me. And then the guys that I work at the hospital, my bosses, they were like very supportive. They were like I said, when I was at the hospital, they said they couldn't even watch me walk. It was so painful for them to watch me walk.
Now, you said your friends, Steve and Mike, I know one of them got the book for you. Were they doing carnivore, or one of them doing carnivore as well, or trying it?
Yeah, they tried it, and they still do some form of it.
Okay. And then at the hospital, are you eating some of your meals at the hospital?
Very few now. With this diet, I had breakfast, then I would have dinner. I eliminated lunch, and the more I eat at night, the energy level the next day. The more I eat, my energy level is even more the next day, and sometimes I don't even have breakfast anymore. Sometimes just the dinner, because I feel so full of the main course of dinner.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And then what does your diet look like these days? What does a typical day of food look like for you?
A typical day for breakfast, I have any type of meat with eggs, scrambled, fried. I have sausage, bacon, steak whenever I can. Dinner is anywhere from a quadruple cheeseburger to a New York steak. And then once in a while, I'll have chicken or a salmon just to change it up for the 1 or 2 days.
So when you eat your cheeseburger, are you eating with a bun or without a bun, or how do you do that?
Oh, back in February, once I weeded off the breads in mid-February, there's no more bread in my diet at all. Zero. Okay. No more pizza, no more bread, no more fruit, vegetables. Some of my family members are like, they don't understand the concept of no more vegetables. And I'm like, listen, first off, the chemicals that can be in there from how they grow them, we don't know where they're coming from. And I'm like, I don't need them anymore. I'm enjoying the main portion of the meal more and more. Instead of just having that one steak, now I'm having two. It's been a great diet.
Yeah. How satisfied do you feel when you eat now? Are you pretty sad? A lot of people say, I couldn't be satisfied just eating steak. I need to have some bread or some fruit or some salad or something. Do you feel pretty satisfied?
Oh, I'm very satisfied with what I'm eating. When I started this diet, and actually one of the secretaries, Joanne, basically said, after 3 months of seeing me change, she said, you're no longer on a diet. You changed your life. You changed it for the better. And just keep on going forward. And the thing is, it's like, why am I going to add bread anymore? Why am I going to have these other things that made me feel like crap, cause me pain? I'm not going back there.
How hard is it to do this diet? Because you're in New York City, I'm guessing. It sounds like it. Do you have any challenges doing it, or is it pretty easy?
I can't think about what anybody else is thinking. I'm taking care of myself, and this is the best way I've done it. And this is the longest I've ever been on a life-changing diet. And like that lady Joanne said, this is my new life. Anything
unusual that you've noticed in the diet? Well, let me ask you first. It sounds like it's been going pretty good for you. Has there been any real downsides to anything negative that you've noticed so far?
Yeah, the downside is I can actually see my ugly toes again, and there's nothing been positive. Everything's been. Let's put it this way: by one point, every day is a great day. I can't worry about the people or the things I can't control. I can only control what's in front of me and what I can do. And if someone disagrees with what I'm doing, or they're allowed to disagree with me, I got to continue doing what's been best for me. And the opportunities now that's been given me. I was only doing part-time at the hospital. Now I'm doing full-time. I've cut back on the other jobs I've been doing. It's just been, this has been great.
You live in New York City, and the mayor of New York City has been very much a what he calls it, a plant-based centered lifestyle or something. I can't remember what he said, but it was something along those lines.
Yeah.
Trying to convince New Yorkers to cut back on meat, give up meat, telling school districts Mondays and Fridays don't serve meat or have these vegan days. What are your thoughts on politicians trying to dictate how we should eat to either change our health or save the planet or whatever the potential things are? Any thoughts on that or concerns around that?
That's one of the things where I stopped watching the news. I stopped listening to these politicians that are trying to change your lifestyle. And I'm just one pea in this big universe here, and I can't worry about what the mayor wants to do anymore. I got to worry about me first, then my family, and then help the next person. By helping the next person, there's one coworker that I have worked with. He does midnights. 5 weeks ago, he started the carnivore diet. I explained to him, he used to walk fast, but he's about 5'6", 205 pounds at the time. I explained to him, listen, you got to walk a little bit slower. Walking fast doesn't matter. And just the slower pace and everything else along with this diet, you'll be able to walk longer and everything will just fall in place. He just texted me yesterday. He's mad at me because he has so much more energy. He's doing lawn work, housework, than exercising and doing more activities than he's done in months and years. He's lost 22 pounds in 5 weeks, and his whole family's been happy for this guy.
Yeah, you had, at the very beginning, you said you deferred taking care of your own health to take care of your family, working, and but the reality is, if you're unhealthy and sick, you can't be very effective at helping your family or helping anybody. You got to help yourself first.
No,
and so,
at all.
Obviously you sound like you're very excited about this stuff and you talk about it quite a bit. How many people do you find that have a open mind to this versus people that think it's just crazy and think you're crazy? What's the ratio, do you think?
Oh, I think when they think it's crazy is at the very beginning. And then they see me, like my family sees me now. At the very beginning, I asked my wife, my mother-in-law, and my sister-in-law, this is what I'm doing. This is what I plan to do. It'd be nice if someone else joins me. If not, it's okay. And one of the reactions I got, you go on the crazy meat diet at work, the question about the vegetables and why this, why that. And then I get, listen, it's working. I lost 50 pounds from January 26th to April 19th. I'm down 91 pounds today. They say, oh, it's the walking, it's the walking. It's not just the walking. It's definitely the carnivore, because I lost 50 pounds without the heavy walking. I do 10 to 20 miles now a day without hesitation. And those people that think it's crazy, or I can't, like I said, I can't worry about them. But I'm just happy I influenced one guy at work to do this, and he's enjoying it.
Yeah, obviously all that walking is, obviously you're burning off calories and things like that. Do you think you could have just started walking without the diet and had the same impact? Or was the diet helpful in reducing the pain first?
As I said in the past, I've tried many things. I've tried walking before. The most I've done was maybe 10 to 15,000 steps, anywhere, I guess, up to 4 or 5 miles. Now, like I said, on the vacation, I hit the 61,000 step mark. Prior to that, I hit 40,000 steps multiple times. And I've not been able to do it without what I'm eating today because of that energy level. The more I eat, the more energy I have for that next day.
How about mental health? Has it helped you, like, cognitively? Has it helped you emotionally, mood-wise? How's that been different, or has it been different?
Oh, I do apologize for not mentioning this earlier, but I was very lethargic. At the hospital, I would forget little things. I would forget my keys. I would forget my radio somewhere. I just misplaced things and not thinking clearly. And I'd be walking around like a zombie on top of walking on Igor. And now, compared to where I was to today, I can think clearer. I don't forget much of anything anymore. I'm not lethargic anymore. I'm able to now, instead of just sitting in the corner at the hospital, just waiting for someone to call me, I'm walking around that hospital. At the end of the day, at the hospital, I look at my phone. It says 10 miles I walked in the hospital, where I was doing absolutely nothing a year ago.
Just out of curiosity, what kind of work do you do in the hospital? Are you doing like security or something like when you walk, or maintenance, or what do you do?
I do security at the hospital.
I was going to figure out. I heard you say the radio and a lot of walking. So, while you're at the hospital, you have to notice people that are sick. I mean, that's where sick people go, right? A lot of people probably suffering from chronic disease, obesity, things like that. Do you have any thoughts on how our kind of healthcare system is working or not working? Are you seeing more and more sick people? What are they eating? Do you get privy to any of that, or is that kind of not something you notice?
No, it's the only thing I notice. Like you said, they're at the hospital, they're very sick. And the people coming in are sick, the visitors. The only thing I can make sure they're okay. Other than that, when I see some of these sick people, I'm saying, oh my God, I could have been that person next year, because where I was going. I was in such a bad frame. And to be where I am right now, it's amazing, because other than the patients, more is the coworkers, the nurses, the doctors that see me. From months ago, some people noticed me, say, "What? Hey, you're doing really good. What you've been doing?" And I explained the whole thing. The walking and the change of diet. And then people that I never talked to, or maybe I said good morning to, come to me and say, "Holy cow, where did you go? Like, you're doing such an amazing job." And I tell my story again. I've told them the story to hundreds of people at this hospital. And it makes me feel better that I'm going on the right track where I am today.
Yeah. So you said some of the physicians you've talked with, has their response been anything? I probably say good job. Do they engage you much about the diet?
There's a lot of engagement. They're in shock, number one. I show them the walking numbers. They're like, they can't get over. They're happy if they got to 10,000 steps. And some of my coworkers now, they try and compare the steps with me, and that's great, because now they're trying to get a little bit more exercise in when they haven't been. But I still just unfortunately blow them away.
Did you, because you're a little bit younger than me, but you probably grew up exposed to a lot of the similar stuff that I was. Were you under the impression that particularly red meat was bad for you and you shouldn't eat it? Was that something you'd believed when you were younger?
With the red meat, once again, you see all these news stories, all these studies done. And part of it was I tried to avoid eating. I would try to just have meat a couple of times a month instead of what I'm doing right now. I would try and stay with the chicken or the fish. And unfortunately, and then reading this book, it's not the red meat. I'm like reading different things. It's all these other things they add, the other things that you eat with the meat that end up putting everything together, makes it worse for everything that you do eat.
Has your sort of, I guess, you said you stopped watching the news, because a lot of the things that we were told ultimately turn out to be wrong. And I think that's normal. A lot of people make mistakes, but there seems to be this, almost a narrative being built that regardless if it's right or not, it's just the way they want things to happen. Where do you get your meat from, by the way? Are you focusing on only grass-finished meat, or is it just whatever you enjoy and variety?
At this point in time, it's whatever I can afford. Mostly the hamburgers, and every now and then I'll go to the meat market and get a nice steak, porterhouse, to treat myself. And that's where I would mostly go. And then in regarding to the news, the only time I look at the newspaper just to look at different articles. Like, I seen 2 studies done where they're introducing that red meat is actually better for you now. Seeing those 2 studies, wait, just seeing something. And another thing I saw was they rated the diets, and the carnivore diet was in the top 5, I believe. And you're seeing more and more of a positive effect, people looking at meat in a positive way now.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's because no one's ever really looked at it in this way. We've always looked at it as part of a diet, and it's a dietary pattern, and it's a Western diet plan. But no one's ever looked into a meat-exclusive diet where it's just all meat and see what the outcomes. And what we're seeing is, despite what people would have assumed, the opposite's happening. People are getting healthy. They're losing weight. Their blood pressure's going down. Their A1C is normalizing. Their pain's going away, on and on. You mentioned, because you work security, so you have a kind of a typical job as far as you're not multimillionaire doing that, but how hard is it to afford this diet compared to another diet? Some people would say it's too expensive for me to eat this way. When people say that, what do you tell them?
Like I said, with the cost, I treat myself to the steak once or twice a month. I mainly eat the hamburgers. I'll go for a hot dog. The chicken, I look for stuff that's on sale and price accordingly. And I've saved money now by going on this diet because I eliminated lunch. I don't have to worry about lunch anymore. I'm not even hungry for lunch. And sometimes I save the money on breakfast because I'm full from the night before.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people notice. They just end up eating less. They spend less money on medication, supplements, snacking, all these other things. So you mentioned you eat a lot of ground beef and some other meats, sausage and things like that. Are you eating much dairy? Is dairy part of the diet? Cheese and dairy products?
With my hamburgers, I add the cheese every time I have a hamburger. I tried to reintroduce milk a little bit into the diet, and those days it didn't work out. So milk is pretty much eliminated from this. What I've been trying. I've tried a little bit of foods, and the cheese I do add to the steaks and other meats that I have.
Okay, so fair enough. And it's interesting. Some types of dairy are okay. Some types are not for them. Some people do great with all dairy. Some people do horrible with all dairy. So it's one of those things where you don't know what's going to happen. What is your goal? You've lost 91 pounds. You're down to 230-ish or something like that. Do you have a goal weight that you want to get to? Are you there, or what do you think?
I get that asked a lot at the hospital, and there is no goal. I've reached my goal. I changed my life. I feel so much better. I'm doing more activities. And last year, I tried to go to a NASCAR race with my son. I could barely keep up with him. I had to sit down. I couldn't. He was running around, going to different parts of the racetrack. I couldn't keep up with him. I felt so miserable. It's like, my son's having a great time. I'm glad he's having a great time, but I couldn't enjoy it because of the pain I was in. The sporting events we go to, from hockey games to baseball games, last year, I couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't even fit in some of the seats. It was uncomfortable for me. And now with the goal, I'm able to enjoy everything again. We went to a race in April. At the end of April, we went. And we had a great time. I was able to keep up with him. We were able to do stuff with him. And it was just so much enjoyable.
It's hard.
There is no... Sorry.
I was going to say, it's hard to put a number on how meaningful or how much better, a better quality of life. Like you said, you're enjoying all these things. How much is it worth to you? Would you say it's $1 million better? The quality of life that you have now versus a couple of years ago?
It's priceless. There's no price to this. I wouldn't care if I'm dead broke. I'd rather be healthy and then be able to do just not one thing, but do multiple things to raise money for my family. Because my older one, he's going to graduate from Buffalo and move on to his master's. My younger one, he's going to college next year. So I have to do and be healthy to support my family. And if I'm not healthy, I won't be able to support them.
Because you said you've got a couple college-age kids, it sounds like. Had they ever struggled with weight or anything like that? Is that something that kind of was common to the family, or is it?
No, thankfully, my oldest son, he was part of the track and field team in high school. He plays soccer now and on a regular basis with his friends. My younger one right now is on the golf course playing golf right now. So they've been athletic. Unfortunately, they haven't seen me do anything until this past year. We went to play billiards and I beat them, and they're like, they don't understand what's going on. How did you beat us in billiards? Then we played ping pong one day. I beat them in ping pong. They don't understand how I'm beating them now. I used to do other stuff. I was able to do other things, but now I'm back where I was almost 20 years ago and able to do things when they didn't see me. They always saw me unhealthy.
Yeah, how has it affected the kids when they see you now? Are they physically commenting on, Dad, you're healthier and we feel better about you now? Or
yeah, a little bit, because with the family compared to the coworkers and other friends I see, they see me every day, and I think that they finally realized, oh my, what did you disappear? I was able to fit in a suit in May, where I haven't fit in a suit in 5 years.
Yeah, one of the sort of negative side effects of the carnivore diet for a lot of people is they have to buy new clothes. Like, I got to buy a new wardrobe because I don't fit in anything anymore. Is that, do you have a lot of clothes still from when you were less heavy, or do you have to buy new clothes now?
Right now, I still have the clothes that I'm heavy in, and we're slowly buying new clothes at work. Thankfully, they pay for my uniforms. My boss only gave me half because he was afraid that I may gain it back or I may lose more. So when I went to get my new uniform last week, the guy measures me. He's like, "You're all right. You're 38." I go, "That's great," because when I first got the uniform, my pant size was a 48. So I went down from a 48 down to a 38. I was so happy. It was like, and I had to tell him. I told that guy the story. I just keep on telling the story. The story gets longer and longer every day, every month.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you said you lost 91 pounds, I think, since January. Are you still losing weight, you think, or is it still coming off? Or
I hit it every plateau. I've been keeping track. I've been almost keeping track of all the stuff I've been doing, almost like a human science project. When I hit the 290s, I was stuck at 290 for three weeks. Then all of a sudden, April 19th hit, I'm down 50 pounds. I'm down to 276. From 276, I hit the 260s. I was stuck there. Then all of a sudden, from 260s, I'm down to 240, 254. And it just kept on. I have these plateaus. I can't worry about that plateau. I just got to keep on moving forward. And right now, I'm at 235.
How often hunger is something, a lot of people go on diets and they're like, hunger is a lot of things. Are you pretty well not hungry that much? Do you feel like you're pretty satisfied?
There's days where once every couple of weeks, I wouldn't eat on Monday because I had such a big meal with my family. That Monday, I wouldn't really eat anything till the following Tuesday because I make sure I drink almost 2 liters of water a day. And that keeps me full. And the fasting has been a little bit part of this. And the hunger is not really there.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier when you're not hungry all the time. Yeah, I always tell people that you're not going to succeed on a diet if you're hungry all the time or you don't like the food. And I assume you like the food you're eating, correct? I would think that's fair to say.
Yes.
How about a lot of people will say, carnivore diet, you're not going to be able to go to the bathroom. You're going to be constipated because you don't have any fiber in there. Any problems with your digestive issues and bathroom stuff?
Nothing at all. It's been working so much better since this diet. It's better than where it was. And I'm happy to see different things now and how it's improved.
Yeah, I guess with your outlook a year ago, barely being able to walk any distance at all, constant pain, way overweight, your outlook for the future a year ago versus your outlook in the future now, has it changed?
Tremendously. I always felt behind the 8 ball a year ago. I'm looking at other people get either a better raise or promoted, and I can't worry about. That's when I said, I got to start doing something. It was a slow process. 21, 22, and then, like I said, January of this year, seeing that new doctor, I have to if I don't take care of myself, nothing's good going to happen. Just this past week, just being nice to somebody, I got a job interview today for a different job. Just because I said hello, I was confident with myself, and these different opportunities, talking to different people, making people who are visiting the sick or dying family member in a hospital, I'm making them a little bit happy for the moment they're talking to me, just so they can just be there for the family member.
Yeah, it's always nice when a stranger is kind to you. It can brighten up your day for sure. What about as a kid growing up? Were you like a normal sized kid and then you got heavier later in life, or what was your family food like when you grew up?
The family food, just your typical family cereal for breakfast, your regular dinners with meats, potatoes. When I was younger, I'd go bike riding. I'd be playing handball. I lived in Richmond Hill, Queens. My grandmother would be in Ridgewood. I would take my bike there every couple of days, or I go to a park that's 6 miles away on my bicycle and play handball, football. I've done different activities, nothing organized, but I was always active. I got heavier later on.
Okay. How do you deal with social stuff? If you go to people's house, go to a party, go to a gathering, go to a restaurant, is that hard for you now that you're doing pretty much straight carnivore?
No, but my wife, her birthday, her brother's birthday, and her sister's birthday, all in the same week. Just to be nice, I have a little piece of cake. My wife would make a cake, and I would have to have a little bit bigger piece. Every day that I had that piece of cake, the next day I would have a headache. I would feel miserable. Then I would make sure I walk 40,000 steps, hit anywhere between 16 to 20 miles the next day, because I just felt disgusting from eating that piece of cake.
Interesting. Yeah, 16, that's a lot of walking. Is that, I guess, I'm just wondering, because you're walking so much now, okay, and you couldn't walk but a half mile before, it had negatively impacted your job, being able to perform your duties as a security person, right?
Yeah, it's like I was there at work. I would respond to the situation that I needed to respond to. But compared to where I was to where I am today, I'm walking around that hospital 2-3 times inside, 15, 20 times outside. Just every time I'm walking around, there's someone that might be a little bit lost, someone who needs help. I'm there now, where I was just stuck in the corner when I was there in the beginning.
Yeah, and what you said you're interviewing, you maybe another job, and I want to hopefully. Are you planning on doing like a different line of work or something like that, or what kind of stuff are you thinking about?
Just another security job, just something to supplement the pay I get at the hospital, and just like I said, I got 2 kids in college now, and my older one, he's looking to go to Columbia, and Columbia is not cheap, so I got to start making some other type of income right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. And do you have any plans to like add in other foods at any time? Or are you pretty happy where you are now?
I'm very happy where I am now. Just to go back, what makes me even more happy is just to go back to the medication I was taking, especially the blood pressure medication. After seeing the doctor the second time a week later, my blood pressure was like 101/72, and it was getting low and low. I asked the doc, "Hey doc, I need to get off this blood pressure medication. My blood pressure is pretty low now." She said, "Listen, monitor it for a few weeks, see where you are." And I said, "Okay," which works great because I work at a hospital. So I go ask a nurse every other couple of days, "Can you take my blood pressure?" And they started asking me, "Why are you taking your blood pressure all this time?" Because I stopped taking my medication. I stopped taking my blood pressure. The horror in their face is like, "What do you mean you stopped taking your blood pressure medication?" "I'm not taking it anymore. It's causing me pain. I don't want it anymore." And I talked to my doctor about this. Once I said talking to my doctor, it's like, all right, they're a little bit better with it. And they go, "I'm here. I'm getting my blood pressure checked because of it. And my blood pressure has been between 115 to 126 over 70 to 80. And it's almost been perfect."
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. And how many medications have you come off now? I mean, you've come off several of them, sounds like.
I was on the Crestor for the cholesterol. I was on the blood pressure medication and the / water pill. And like my original doctor wanted me to take metformin. I'm not taking the metformin. I'm off the blood pressure and I'm off the Crestor.
Okay. So
And there's nothing else I'm taking now. I have a follow-up with my doctor again in August, and we'll see where I am at that point. I've never felt this good in a long time.
were you ever taking like over-the-counter pills for pain, like anti-inflammatories and things like that? Did you ever have to do that with the hip pain?
I did not. I never took the pain medication. Even I really didn't project the pain. I didn't want my wife and kids to see how much pain I was in. The only people that really noticed I was in pain were the people at the hospital. The way I was walking there, they said I'm walking towards the left. I don't look normal, and that's where I said, "Oh my God, I got to start doing something."
How has your wife and your kids, have they adjusted their diet at all since you've been doing this? Are they eating more meat-based, or is it?
No, their diet's been strictly the same. I've been hoping my wife would join me, considering that she has a thyroid problem. And I've went over the stories in your book on the podcast, like how some of these women have gotten rid of their thyroid medication. And she also suffers from migraines. And I'm not going to force her to, and I'm not going to make her. And she's doctor after doctor, and she has the same results. And I'm hoping one day that maybe she doesn't have to have a hamburger. She doesn't have to have a steak. She can have chicken or some fish, but one day at a time. I worry about her.
Does she just not like red meat? Has she been felt that it's bad?
Yeah, she doesn't eat that often. Her being Italian, it's more the pasta diet and the meatballs and more pasta bread-based diet.
Yeah. And we clearly have people with migraines that get better and thyroid issues that get better with that. So maybe just keep being the inspiration and keep being it. So, because I'm sure she's got to be watching you and thinking, what the heck? And I've seen a lot of people. That happens a lot of times. You're right. You can't force anybody. You just got to say, hey, just being an example, and hopefully they come to it on their own, and you'll have the resources there. But let me see what else. We're getting low on time here. I want to give you a chance to share. Is there anything else you want to share that you can get to talk about?
One thing I do want to share is just thank all the people I work with at the hospital. They've been so supportive during this. My friends Mike and Steve have been my foundation for this. Every day I just feel great. It's little steps at a time, and it's just been amazing. And I just do the best I can. And if I got one person to join me like I have, I just hope for that second person, because once they start this, they're going to feel so much better, just like myself and my friends at work.
How much younger do you think you feel?
I feel like I'm back at 20 years old again. I just been able to do more activities now, being able to do activities with my kids. I've been able to play golf. I haven't been able to play golf in 15, 20 years. And it's just been amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Are you doing any like social media stuff? Do you like post to social media or have any kind of social media page or anything like that? No,
not anymore. After just everything with either Facebook or Twitter, it just became us versus them versus us. And it was not worth another minute of my time anymore.
Yeah, good for you. There's a lot of nonsense there and a lot of sort of political divisiveness, which I think is unhelpful. But anyway, it's great, Dan, to get to share your story and hear about you, and keep up the good work and keep spreading the message, because you sound like a real advocate that is very cheerful, and I'm sure you're going to influence many people with this interview, and you're continued talking about it in person. So thank you for taking the time, and appreciate it. Thanks so much, Dan.
Guys, is it possible that you can say hello to my friends, Steve and Mike? They're here with me today?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Are they off camera or something like that?
No, they're right here.
There they are. Hey, Steve and Mike. I don't know. Hey, guys. Good to meet you guys. Thanks for inspiring this guy, and appreciate you guys sharing, helping him get better. That's awesome.
Just a couple of things. I can't believe we just went through this whole. Dan didn't mention once that we were all on highway patrol in New York City together.
Oh, nice.
I don't think he mentioned that. Dan retired years ago. I retired, and Mike here retired. We all retired from Highway 1. He was in. You guys were in the district, but whatever.
Thanks for doing what you guys do, and I hope you guys are enjoying your retirement. Can you guys keep up with him with his walking, his 60,000 steps a day?
I wouldn't even try keeping up with walking. No.
They actually walk faster than me, so I can't even keep up with them. But
But I do. I share his story with everybody. I have a lot of people that I try to influence too, and some people just don't listen. Some people can't hear it. But I got a lot of people to read your book, and I tell them I'm tired of explaining it. I just say you're on your own. Read the book, and if it works for you, it works for you.
Well,
We're really happy for that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for supporting him, because this is the other thing that's real important. A lot of people don't see it. So we hear about the success stories, but a lot of times that success is dependent upon someone else either introducing, showing, and then supporting. And thanks for doing that for him and for spreading the word.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're trying.
All right, guys.
All right,
I got to go. Just for the rest of the folks, we had a scheduled interview at 1 today. I'm not able to do that, so we're going to have to reschedule that one. So we're done for the day. You guys have a great weekend. I'll, of course, be here tomorrow if you guys want to show up for the weekend sessions. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a great one. Bye-bye now.
Great. Take care. Thank you.